Hello everyone, you saw the video title, you know why you're here. We're talking about the X52 Hotas setup. This is the SciTech model. It's now made by Logitech. I got this exact set 11 years ago in 2015. I had deployed to Iraq in the military, and I ordered these. I found a love for Elite Dangerous while I was over there. I had my little gaming laptop, and I felt a bit absurd when I was carrying these around. I made a little box for them so that it would fit nice and snug, all wrapped tight, lots of bubble wrap, and they've survived. I've been using them ever since. I'll show you how to clean them, service them, and how I have configured mine for Elite Dangerous. Now first, I think I'm just going to grab that webcam over there and actually show you on the joystick what all the buttons are for, what I like to use them for, and what they do, and I think the best way of going about using them. After that, I'll talk a bit about some suggestions I've gotten from comments, some questions that I have addressed far too many times now, so I'm going to make a video about it. I'll show off some combat, give you a few tips about how to utilize joysticks, flight assist off, and boosting to get the best out of your ship possible, the best turn rates and speeds, as well as how to use a fighter, my control setup for SRVs, and then finally how I like to clean my joystick, service it, the parts I've taken out, what I've changed about the throttle piece, and then how I like to maintain my joystick on a very, very basic level. Even with just those basic cleanings every so often, these things have lasted 11 years. So first we're going to go over the throttle. And I'm just going to pick and choose each one and tell you what they do in no specific order. So first off, we've got this guy down here. This is a mouse. And I believe a left click only. There might be a way to right click with this. I don't use them. I've been contemplating introducing this into fixed weapon fighting for a little more accuracy, but I haven't gone that far yet. Next up, we have this slider here. Moves up and down like that. This controls my sensor range. So you can see underneath that radar there, as I move this slider up and down, the radar range increases and decreases. Next up is this button marked D, as in Delta. This is the equivalent of my shift key. So there's not enough buttons on any controller for Elite Dangerous. Sometimes you have to press two buttons at once. That is what I use D for. We have this button down here. I use that for boosting. The one up here, marked Echo, is frame shift drive. We have these cool rotatable hat switches, I believe they're called. This controls my left and right thrusters. This one controls my up and down thrust. Very helpful for landing on high G worlds when you don't have a shield, because you can just tick it down slightly and the ship will slowly go to the ground, instead of pressing like just the complete down full thrust button like on a keyboard or something. Let's see here. We can rotate this around and we have this guy here. This is an 8-way switch. Default on the SciTech or Logitech software, this is set to a 4-way, but you actually have 8 different buttons here. I use this for my thrust vectoring, up and down and left and right. That way I can use the throttle forward and back and also be controlling the thrust of the ship. Now the throttle itself, I keep my 0 throttle right in the middle. Some people, they like having this at 0, so they'll go forward, and when they want to go back, they'll hit a button, and suddenly the ship will be in full backwards thrust. I prefer forward and then backward, but it's just a personal preference. These buttons down here only control the display, and then some of the settings of the, I think the whole software itself. I never touch these. Something I do have is when these come, there is a little peg built in just underneath the throttle piece that sort of clicks in the middle and stops this throttle from just fully moving smoothly. Yeah, I removed that peg, so now it's perfect. Here's a tightener for the throttle itself. I don't think it has much effect. I might have disabled that. Moving on over to the joystick, we've got a lot more buttons here. So first off, we have yaw of the ship. That's moving left, or looking left and right. We have the roll, and then we have the pitch. Let's start at this hat switch here, right where your thumb rests. This is my power distributor. So of course, down is reset, left shields, right weapons, up engines. This button here, this is my chaff. I have ECM on this one. During the Thargoid War, that was deploy caustic sink. Of course, you've got your secondary fire button right here where the thumb sits. The A I've got for select wingman target. And then moving on over to this top hat switch, I have select hostile for up. Left and right is rotate between hostiles. And then down is select highest threat. Going to the front, of course, we've got our primary weapon. And then we've got the pinky switch down here, which is my flight assist. And this is a momentary switch. For my ship, I've got it set up to hold for flight assist off, and then when I let go, flight assist automatically turns back on. And it's worth noting that this piece you can unscrew and move up and down for a more comfortable fit in the hand. Something about the SciTech, or the X52 I should say, is there is a switch down here. If you pull that out, it disables the ability to yaw with the joystick. So I keep that pressed in so I've got the full range of motion. Moving on down to these lovely switches, I have set up to a myriad of things. First off, we have down for system map, up for galaxy map, down for landing gear on the middle one, up is deploy cargo scoop. This far right button, down is deploy heatsink, up is silent running. And now let's get to some of the more advanced controls. You remember how I told you about this button on the throttle? My so-called shift button. Whenever I hold that down and press the chaff button, it turns into a shield cell bank instead. It's the same with this hat switch. If I hold that button down, left and right moves me between subgroups. Up changes between HUD modes from analysis to combat mode. And then this bottom hat switch, holding shift, will let me change through my HUD menus. And I'll show you in game as well. So it looks like we've got some combat ships down there. They're probably looking for a fight. In fact, I do see a fight already. I'll show off some of the controls. This is one of them I forgot. So holding my D button, my shift button down, and then the power control hat, I can select my different UI panels. And of course, I've got all my UI controls mapped to that same hat switch. And shifting from tabs is the second higher hat switch on the joystick. So if you can see that there, switches between the tabs. Trigger is select, and then button labeled B on the joystick is back. So that gets me out of the menu. There is also free look mode. That is holding my shift button, the D button, down and then pressing B. Lets me look around. Of course, it's just the yaw, the pitch, and then the roll rolls the ship. So I can get a better look out of whichever way I want to spin. Hopefully I didn't make you too dizzy. In fact, let's make you a little dizzier. Since we're going into combat, we gotta put on the trusty head tracker. There we go. This is usually how I play the game, though I've been told that it was making a few people sick on those start from the beginning videos. Alright, who's fighting here? I've got... I'll just list off things as I think of them. To switch your HUD mode, I believe it's called, from combat mode to the exploration mode. That is the shift D button and up on that second hat here. So the one I would normally use for targeting something ahead of me, I can switch by holding that shift button. Got a few of those. Left and right on that top hat switch with the shift button switches between subgroups, not subgroups, but fire groups. So I can select my weapons like that quickly. Let's just do here. Oh, I was playing with some cannons. Let's get on these guys. So launching fighters and things like that, it's as simple as that on the joystick.
Understood. Initializing fighter startup.
As long as you got those UI controls down pretty fast, or pretty good, you can be pretty fast.
Go, Commander.
What do we have here? Courier. Gunship. Oh, and this head tracking really helps with targeting things around you. Because if I want to suddenly shoot at that courier, I just look up and press the target button. Very fast. Very, very helpful. Are our hard points deployed? No, they are not. And you'll see at the end of the video, when I scroll through all of my actual controls, the actual bindings I have, and I know there's more that I've forgotten about, but I've got the D button and the A button linked to attack this target from my fighter, so I can just sick them.
Affirmative.
Like that.
I see the target, Commander. Moving to attack position.
Get my fighter to take aggro, and then lay into him. So then, you see there's a red target down there, that second hat switch, a left or right will cycle to that guy. You see how slow I'm turning now, even though my speed there is in the blue, even turning up the engines a bit? Still got some slow speed, so let's talk about turning fast with flight assist and boosting. So if you get this ship going, you can see that there's a moment to where it's slow and then it ramps up to its full turning radius speed. If you time your boost right when it goes from slow to fast and hit flight assist off, you can swing your ship around incredibly fast. So I'll try to demonstrate here. There we go. Now we're spinning at a higher rate. So that's how I maneuver some of these big ships. Of course, if you've been playing Elite for a while, you know that all the ships sort of have their quirks. They don't yaw fast at all. None of them do. They only pitch fast. So if I want, this guy's going to pass me on the left. If I want to quickly turn, I'm going to turn into him and then aim up, hit that boost, flight assist off, and there I'm rotated back around. Of course, you can hold that flight assist off and use your index finger to strafe around him with your little thrusters. I forgot that my fighter's still up there. Oh, look at him. He's killing that guy. Good job, fighter. Are these fixed cannons? I might be playing with fixed cannons. It's been a while since I've flown this ship. Okay. Now that that's fun and done, we're going to go down on a planet and I will show off the SRV controls. Okay. SRV controls. So, unlike the game, when I turn, I use the yaw on the joystick, not the roll like the commander in game is doing. I reserve that roll for my jump jets. So now I can roll left and right. That's the same with pitch. I regain some engine capacity here. Left and right, forward and back. And that lets me sort of VTOL around, especially on low G worlds. I can also completely rotate this thing around while in the air, if it wasn't for this 2G planet I selected. So we've got turning down, and we've got trick I want to show you about flight assist off in the SRV and the throttle. So you have a maximum speed in the SRV, and it's dictated by the amount of pips in your engines. So if I drop all pips down, this thing slows to a crawl. But if I reset, it speeds up. If you flight assist off, you start gaining a little more speed. It's a very, very small amount, but it also helps you bring that throttle back. If you want to inch up to something without changing your power distribution here, I would recommend turning flight assist off for the SRV. Oh, and I have this on toggle now. So my pinky switch toggles off, toggles on, instead of just being a continuous hold. With off, I can inch this throttle forward and go very slow. With flight assist on, I can't. It gets to a certain range, and then it speeds up quickly. So if I want just that little bit more of a control here, for whatever reason, I recommend flight assist off. Let's see. Oh, there's some other cool things. The UI controls are generally the same as the ship. Same buttons for all that. Let's see. We have targeting is the exact same as the ship, but we have a turret on the SRV that you can access. I don't know. I feel like it's something sort of slept on. Not many people do this. I'll press my D button, and then I'll press the secondary fire button to enter the turret. So now I've got all the controls set to yaw, pitch is up and down, and I can still control the SRV. Still turn flight assist off, all that stuff. But in order to turn, I use the button where my index finger would lay on the throttle. So I can turn left and turn right. You lose a little bit of sensitivity because it's just a full left, full right sort of thing. But in combat, you're whipping this thing around everywhere. I can also still use my jump jets, and I can still roll. The only issue here is that I can't turn around. I don't have that pitch axis, so I can't roll then pitch to the left or right, sort of like a helicopter would. Let's see, is that it for the SRV? I mean, you could just drive around like this forever. You can even use analysis mode in it. That's something I haven't done much. I think I did that when I was exploring some Thargoid sites. Scanning things like this. There's always those hard to reach, like, communication towers like these guys. Sometimes they have those scannable points. When you're in the cockpit, it's really hard to get aimed at it unless you use the jets or something. So turreted mode is the way to go. You can select it and then scan it, no matter where it is. I haven't mapped many of the controls. Most of them are the exact same as the ship. Of course, SRV doesn't have chaff, doesn't have ECMs or anything like that, so those buttons aren't bound to anything. Same thing on the bottom of the joystick here with these toggle switches. They still open up the system map. They activate handbrake, cargo scoop, and then we can do silent running. Oh, ship lights. That's what I have that for. Usually where my silent running would be. Forgot I did that. And then down does nothing. The last one is the system in the galaxy map. So that's it for the SRV. Now something else you can do with these throttles to make them last a little longer is to lubricate these joints and grease up any bit of plastic that just rubs against itself. I've noticed that after a while it starts to get creaky and it will hinder my small movements, especially when I'm aiming and fighting. So this is white grease from off of just a 3D printer. It's pretty available. I just take a little bit of it on my finger and then rub it on the inside, right around the entire ring, right on top. It won't hurt to get both sides. I can also feel that I might have been better off cleaning this of all of the old grease before applying the new stuff. Doesn't take much at all. Okay, but now it's so much smoother. Now I'm sure you can do the same thing with the grease on the throttle, but in my case, this hasn't had any sticking. It's still nice and buttery smooth, so I haven't touched it. So from time to time, you're going to want to actually clean and maintain your throttle and stick. I just use some general Clorox wipes to clean up some of that disgusting hand gunk that just builds up over time. And it's just, give it a good scrub down. All around, all the buttons, make it look nice and pretty again. There's also so much dust that accumulates. Might not be a bad idea to hit this with an air duster as well. Try to get some of this gunk out of the nooks and crannies that can't quite reach. Let me know if you have any questions in the comment section below. Anything I didn't address? Anything I've left out or forgot? Not that I can think of. Okay, so stick around. I'm going to put on screen me scrolling through all of my control menu next for the ship and the SRV, and then just the default controls. I'm thinking about uploading my Keybindings profile into like a Google Drive or something, or maybe I'll have a Patreon or something with a download to that. Not quite sure yet. If anyone would be interested in my actual Keybindings setup, let me know, and I can try to get it out there. Discord would be a wonderful place to store that thing. I don't think it's very big in file size. But yeah, thanks for watching, everyone. It's good to be back.
Lost in the galaxy, a void so wide, as tendrils of which space twist out of sight. Caught off course in the black unknown, through deep space I drift alone. Forgotten stories of long past plights, yet higher predictions pull grips my flight. Once the silence broke, it was a scream.